So it's been about a year since my last college computer science EDC video, and I thought I'd make an update to it now that it's been a while. In this video, we're not going to have a cap on the budget. It's still going to be kind of like what I would personally use if I were to go to university as a CS student in 2025. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Also, if you're new to the channel, I tend to pick kind of obscure, like interesting technology to me, but I'll also mention some other picks that I would also highly recommend to you if maybe you're not in CS or maybe you want something more typical. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Happy to announce a new version of the Zen Planner Undated is now ready for you guys. We've added a lot of features that you guys have been requesting, and now we have hyperlinks on the right side and also added personal book notes at the end of the planner as well. And yeah, just a lot of cosmetic tweaks as well to make it look overall more polished. And I've been getting a lot of really great feedback from you guys. You guys seem to really love it. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. If you're interested, the link is down in the description below. It works on iPad, Surface Pro, or anything that you can read and write on PDFs with. So Android and e-ink tablets as well. So really excited for it. You guys, thank you. And back to your video. Bye. So I honestly didn't want to have to buy a backpack for this video because it's like super subjective and you probably already have a perfectly fine backpack. In my case, I'll just talk about this one because I always talk about my JanSport. It's an Arc'teryx X Beams collaboration backpack, and yeah. Also, here are some backpacks I would also personally say I find pretty cool. Of course, it's subjective, but yeah, maybe just if you really need a recommendation, pick from one of those. Okay, on to the fun part, the technology. Honestly, if you're in CS, you probably either use a MacBook or a ThinkPad. I already talked about ThinkPads in my last video, and everyone on YouTube already talks about MacBooks, so I wanted to pick something special. So I went ahead and went with a Panasonic Let's Note. If you don't know what these are, they're basically like Japanese ThinkPads in that they're meant to be extremely durable business laptops. And yeah, if you didn't know, the company Panasonic makes some really amazing products, and yeah, these are actually made in Japan. So these have a really interesting design in that it looks like it was frozen in like 2009. It still has a circular trackpad. I really love this laptop though because it's so fun and quirky to use. I go ahead and dual boot Arch and Windows on it. If you are a new CS student, I would recommend you dual boot Linux, especially Ubuntu and Windows, and that should be able to get you through most of your classes in your semester, unless you're using macOS, of course, which is also a really viable option. So here are some more serious recommendations. You should probably either get a ThinkPad or a MacBook, or I guess a lot of people use gaming laptops as well. And I would personally either dual boot Windows and Linux or use macOS full time. And then here are the specs that I would probably opt for in 2025. Well, minimum specs, you can always go up, of course. At least personally, I always buy used or refurbished. You can just get a lot better of a deal, but there's also plenty of student discounts going on if you'd rather go that route as well. So personally, I prefer to take notes digitally. After years of trial and tribulation, I finally have landed on Emacs org mode with the Roam extension. It's kind of like a graph database like Obsidian, but I also use it in conjunction with an e-ink tablet. I've talked about this one a ton already on the channel. This is my personal e-ink tablet, the Booksco 10.3. And in today's video, I'll talk about a different e-ink tablet. It's a Viwo's AI paper. The company did send this to me to test it out, but I'm gonna go ahead and be very honest with my opinions in that I really think that most people should buy the Booksco 10.3. I've just been trying to find an excuse to talk about this because I do get questions about it on Reddit sometimes. So for me, what makes these e-ink tablets so special isn't actually really the e-ink screen. What really makes them special to me is that they're just like really good Android tablets that you can write on. And because of that, there's just so much system flexibility and that you're able to use your device how you like it. Whereas on an iPad, I've always felt very constrained in that I'm just not able to open a terminal and sync stuff to my computer very easily. It's just always a hassle. The file manager doesn't work like I expected to. So yeah, I just really love the fact that you have, a great writing experience, to be honest, with this device, and you can do a lot of stuff. And yeah, that's why I find these devices really useful for me as like a power user. I think most people would probably be more in the iPad camp, but for the right person, these devices can be a bit of a paradigm shift upwards. So yeah. So Viwo's has really impressed me in terms of the hardware. This device is really great looking. It's super thin. The battery life has been great. It has a plastic screen that's more shatter resistant than these, which tend to be more delicate and fragile. The pen feels great. And yeah, it's just like a really handsome device. There's no front light on either of these. For me, that's not a problem, but if you don't have like a lot of light around, that could be an issue. Where this device really falls short, unfortunately, is definitely the software. On Books devices, the UI is really clunky, but you can do so much stuff on this that it's like, I've never felt restricted. Yeah, it takes a long time to pick it up, but I feel like there's just like so much stuff you can do on it, whereas on this, like I can't even add like a lock screen like I can with this, like a custom lock screen image, you know what I mean? Neo Reader, which is like the note-taking / reader app on this device, this is so darn good that there's just no way that I would ever be able to recommend this at the same price as this. I think for most people I'd recommend this, and I also recommend these devices as well if you're not like in CS or interested in e-ink tablets. So if you guys kind of liked me talking about watches in my Tech I Used to Stay Productive video, so I briefly wanted to talk about a watch I would recommend that's not a smartwatch. So really the practical reason to use a watch is so you can check the time without using your phone. Every time I feel like I use my phone, I'm just like sucked into this deep vortex of just whatever when I was just trying to check the time for like 2 seconds. But I think if I were to start again, I've always been like a Seiko guy. This was like my watch for 10 years in middle school actually. It's a Seiko chronograph, and yeah, I even like engraved my name on it. And this is probably the one I would recommend to someone who doesn't really have like a watch at the moment. This is a Seiko SBSA something. This one in specific is a Japanese version because that's why it has the kanji dates, but they have them in America as well. It's a mechanical watch, so you have to do this in order to keep time with it. The great thing about Seiko is that you're just getting so much value for your money. I feel like everyone loves Seiko regardless of where you are in the watch community. And yeah, I will always have a Seiko in my personal collection. Here's mine actually right here. Ignore the fact that it's missing a clasp, but yeah, this is my Seiko. Pachow. Pretty great watch. I would definitely recommend a Seiko or a Casio. And I also recommend these watches as well if you're like interested but don't really have a watch at the moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and recommend IEMs. In-ear monitors are really great because they don't need a wireless connection. They're just reliable and they just work and they sound great. What I would recommend are these are Truth Ear Hexas. I'm not really an audiophile, but I would say is that the bass isn't super strong or anything. They're definitely more of like reference style headphones. But if you don't have like headphones at the moment, they just punch really high above their price point. I think they look pretty alright. They're a little bit cheap feeling, and the stock cable isn't my favorite like at all. I'll definitely try to replace them if I use them longer. But yeah, if you haven't tried like good headphones, they're definitely a really great place to start. There's a reason they're so recommended in like the IEM circles. Here are some other headphones that I would also recommend at different price points, wired and wireless, and yeah, also check those out if you don't like the Hexas. So the cell phone is literally the device that I have spent like weeks researching for this stupid video, and yeah, I really wanted to talk about this device. It is a Bigme Hybrid Pro. I've always talked about like my handheld e-readers, and this is basically a phone version of it that is considered like, I guess, the meta right now. But the problem is I really didn't like it, but like one of my I guess like internet people that I look up to is u/Rowie on Reddit. He really loves this device, so I thought I'd talk about it. But yeah, I also wanted to talk about this as well. Like my minimal phone. I bought this, and yeah, it's just like so buggy. I can't recommend it. And this one is like, I don't like the hardware. It's too big and too thick. So I just like haven't found a phone for this stupid video like since my last one. Or here are the devices that I would recommend, which is probably just the phone you already have, just make it really dumb. But yeah, this was like so hard to find a good phone. I don't know why. All the phones nowadays are just like not interesting. But Robbie really likes it, so maybe take his opinion. I really trust his opinion personally. But I just haven't really been like super motivated to read on this because it's so like big and heavy. It's kind of like the Books Palma, but like a little bit better, I would say. So yeah, I was unable to find a phone for this year's video. That's my bad. Hopefully the next sleet of phones is more interesting. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting us and testing out Doko. We've been a bit stagnant on progress as of recent. We have a new backend, like a new architecture for the app ready to send and everything. But it's just been super hectic for both of our personal lives, me and Eric's, which is why it's been really slow recently in terms of development. That's definitely my bad. Now that I'm back in LA, we can start working on it again full time. So yeah, really sorry about that. And yeah, I'm just like getting used to living here, like having a place and stuff. It's been pretty nice now that I'm, moved into a new spot. It's very spacious in here. And yeah, I really love living here so far. It's kind of hectic sometimes. I'm definitely not in Pasadena anymore. I'm a lot more like in the downtown area of LA. I'll be streaming for funsies starting again this week or today, I guess, on the J Skulls channel. We'll see if I end up renaming it. I also am likely gonna probably start taking sponsorships in my videos, which is something that I've been really trying to avoid for like most of my YouTube career. I've been on here for like 5 years now. I've done like 1 or 2 sponsored videos, or I guess like sponsors in a video. And yeah, I just want to continue like bootstrapping Doko, and like we don't want to take VC funding. And yeah, it's just like my cost of living has probably like 8x since moving into it, like in a place and not like living out of my car. And yeah, so I just like really don't want to, but I probably will end up doing sponsors just like to make ends meet. So yeah, it is what it is, but I always really appreciate you. Anyways, have a nice rest of your evening. I'll actually go away now, bye.